All right, so let's go see what happens here. We have the modern. Wait a second, I want to check something. No, I didn't do this game. I just, whoop, dang it. It's here. Here it is. Okay, so a little indirect pressure on this long diagonal. If you take, white could face some triple pawns, counterplay. Knight f3 would be a good move here for black. One second. Okay, sorry, so knight f3 is a good move, very good. Okay, so now we're in a variation of the accelerated dragon, the Sicilian. Can still transpose into some of the main lines. Accelerated is when we're just accelerating, getting this fianchetto done. Okay, knight c6 puts a threat on this knight. So white needs to deal with that. How do you do that? Well, it's probably not wise to take. Very, very rare is it a good idea for black, or I'm sorry, for white to make the capture on c6 with his knight. It just tends to give black too easy of a time. I just can't. I've done it myself. I kind of learned the hard way when I was first playing tournaments, when I had my 1400-ish rating. So one good move here is just bishop e3. That develops a piece, and it provides proper reinforcement for the knight. So if black wants to trade twice, white's getting his queen developed. Okay, so let's see what he does. Good, very good. All right, now black to play. There are some lines. I don't think where black tries for d5. Now I can't do it in this situation, but knight f6 would be probably the best move. Okay, playing d6 takes away some of these ideas of an early d5. There's some very, very interesting stuff with that line. Okay, back to the ranch. So what should white do here? We can transpose into a number of lines. One attempt is to go in for the Yugoslav attack. The idea is bishop c4, followed by pawn f3, followed by queen d2, followed by castling, followed by launching the kingside attack. That's the main variation. Now white can delay f3, at least for a move. He doesn't have to play it here. The reason white plays f3 is to keep this knight out of g4. Well, that knight's not going to g4. The other choice is to play into the classical dragon system with bishop e2. Let's see what white does. Okay, bishop c4. This gives a chance for the Yugoslav attack. Now, knight f6 should be played. It's probably the best move. Okay, so now we can get the Yugoslav with f3. Very good. Now here, black should castle. That's main line. The alternative is bishop d7. Black can play a move like bishop d7. At some point. So I don't think a6 fits the bill here for black. Um, it's this opening is in some cases a game of inches. In other words, uh, white or black is going to win. Uh, is going to win by a narrow margin. Every tempo counts. So what's important for black to do? Let's just consider some of the main ideas here. You know, if you don't want to be attacked on the king side, you don't play the dragon, okay? Because you're going to get attacked. But the fun thing is that even though you're getting attacked, you get to attack your opponent. So let's just look at one of the main lines. Okay, now let's see. Usually white brings this bishop back. Okay, he'll spend a tempo and bring it back. Now black will develop, and black puts this rook here, and white castles. And let's see. Now this knight comes here, and then white does this. Now the knight comes to c4, and you take. And you know there's several pages and pages of analysis to this. Many thousands of games have been contested from this position. Sometimes white will play sometimes white will play his pawn to g4. Sometimes he will just shove it to h5 and sacrifice it to get an open line. Sometimes white will play the bishop to h6 directly. So what's black supposed to do while all this is going on? Well, black's supposed to bring this queen out here, okay, shove this rook over to this square. Black often sacrifices the exchange on c3, okay, to bust open white's king position. And, you know, sometimes white's attack gets in there and sometimes black does. But the important thing that I'm trying to say is that it's a game of inches. And by black, you know, black doesn't need, the move a6 doesn't help black's attack. I never demonstrated as part of the plan. Now, you know, sometimes, you know, maybe you're doing it to support b5, but a lot of times black can even, in some lines, black can even sacrifice that pawn on b5, just open up another line. And, you know, then white has other resources too. At some point, white can bring his knight back to e2. The purpose of that is to soften the blow of the exchange sacrifice. If black sacks that exchange, white won't see his queenside pawn shattered. So you know, if you're going to play an opening, it's important to play it correctly. You know, so a6 doesn't help black, and you know white should be getting this bishop back here at some point. And now this is probably good for white. I don't think this helps black. Let's see. Now is he going to castle? No, he's trying for exchanges. So this mindset of blacks to trade off some pieces, I don't think it's going to help him. I mean, I see all kinds of interesting possibilities for white to pursue an initiative here. You know, black is trying to trade pieces, fine. So the first idea, try to take advantage of him trying to trade pieces, is to give him his wish. Now let's shove this queen down here. And you say, what does that do? Put your queen out of play. No, it puts the queen very much in play. If black castles, you know, white definitely has some strong attacking chances here. And, you know, just a case in point, let me just play a couple moves here. Now white is threatening to take and deliver a checkmate. You know, and if this, I mean, this just looks horrible for black. Okay, you know, let's sack. You know, now you know, white's got really good attacking chances here. If you don't want to sack, you don't have to sack. Knight d5. The threat is knight takes, followed by mate. And now say queen check. Now play c3, b4. Now let's see. Now let's try this. I mean, none of this is forced. I'm just kind of having fun. White to play. Let's do this. Threaten mate. See, this is a threat.
Check. Check. Check.
Now he's going to zigzag. And now we're going to castle. How does black stop the mate? Now, none of that was forced, but we look at everything. We're gonna be out online for the next 4 days. Anyway, let's back this up. So I guess that this exchange did happen. What are the alternatives? See, the other alternative is let's just deny the exchange. Let's play here. Okay, this does restore the status quo, so to speak. Before the knights were exchanged, the queen and the bishop are on this diagonal. And the logic behind this move is that we're trying to keep the pieces on the board. If you exchange too many pieces, the drawing chances go up. Okay, so you keep more on. And sometimes I trade them, but when I trade them, I'm nursing some kind of advantage. And maybe it's not enough to win, but I know how to play the position, and then maybe the alternative, keeping it on, I just can't figure out a plan. Doesn't mean there's not a plan. Maybe I just couldn't figure it out, or I'm blinded to it. We sometimes you just don't see everything. You get a whole different perspective on a game when you are done with it and looking at it. So by this bishop e3 move, we set this knight off to the side. Now, what's this mean? It means that this knight is at some point going to have to come back here. That's what it means. Now, if black goes ahead and castles, white is going to castle, right? And then we're going to run into a eventually, white's going to start that pawn storm up the board. And let's take just a quick look. Here comes castling. Now let's see. Let's try queen a5. Now this could create a threat. The threat is bishop takes. And if queen takes, black's able to trade queens and stop white's attack. Let's see. But white gets the bishop pair. So let's see. Here's an interesting move. Okay, now black's queen is loose. Knight is threatening to take on e7. Now here black got the queens off, but he's got a little problem down here to cover. And, white's got a really juicy looking square down here. It's too bad that white didn't have the king over on b1, but they'd be able to take with check first. But anyway, if you play rook e8, that just walks right into a fork. So how else are you going to protect this? You want to play e6? Okay, well, let's see. This seems to win a pawn, right? The rook moves, and we just gobble it. So there is some, again, these lines aren't forced, but the whole logic here is that we're playing this move under the idea that something good can happen, and we have an extra piece on the board that we can try to use against our opponent. This being the extra piece, we're not trading them off. And if I did mention, this again is a position where this move isn't helping black. So he did trade. He probably does put his queen on h6. No, he didn't. Okay, well, didn't have to. But black doesn't have to castle either. Now h6 would keep the queen out, but it's difficult for black to castle. So now I'd probably play queen h6. No, okay, I can start this way. Okay. Here comes the attack. Now here, this just seemed to lose a tempo. In other words, okay, if you want to do this now. See, you can't do this. So if here, now we're ready to do something on this side. And if he wants to play this, so what? It's reinforced. Let's keep it going. If he's going to take, he's going to take. We're trading a lot of pieces, which I don't like, but we've got attacking chances. Now here, maybe we can even gambit this knight. Look at this. How does black defend the threats here? He might be able to.
Check.
But that king doesn't look all that safe. No, this is no good for white. Black will win, I think. Okay, takes. We're on this. White has 3 pawns for the piece, but kind of hard to play for a win with white here. Okay, but I definitely this is better, and then continue with the attack, because here we're just losing some time, and my line when this happens, go here. Now we get this in. Now we get this in. Now the difference between the two positions is this rook is over here and this pawn is up here. See, now we don't have this pawn here. So here comes black's his attack. Queen a5 I can't play queen a5. You drop this. Okay, here comes the attack for both sides. To be also considered was putting the knight here, eyeballing a couple of squares here. There might be a sacrifice on, something to calculate out. But he's after d6. Now we got this knight a little bit out of the action, so I sure want to get this queen in here. Now it's getting closer, but black is getting lateral defense. White's trying to open up some lines. Ooh, that looks unsafe.
Check.
Okay, now we have another check here. Oh, very interesting. Very, very interesting. The idea is not only are we attacking this, we're threatening a check here. It's a very, very good move. And I don't know if black can survive this. I don't know if he can. Okay, let's see. So, what would you do if you had white here? What would you do if you... Why does it say I'm not streaming? I don't know why it said I wasn't streaming. Sorry. Okay. I have no idea. Somehow it just disconnected itself. But the knight check on G6 is there. If we can, another idea is maybe try to get the knight check here to get the rook away from defending G8. I don't see a way to combine themes here. But if we move the queen off the D file, we unpin this pawn. But I think I can get away with knight G6 check, followed by queen D5 check. Let's see.
Check.
And he chooses to give up the exchange. Okay, so the alternative is check.
Check.
Now the king has no move, right? So we're gonna have to walk into a deadly double check. Ooh, let's see.
Check.
If you go here, that's a mate.
Checkmate.
Right? What happens if the king goes the other direction? Maybe that's a defense. Let's see. Although, I mean, if anything, White can play this, and his attack is still raging. But I have a feeling there's something better for White here. I mean, the double check looked like the natural thing. What if we check here?
Check.
Okay, it's discovered check. If the king, yeah, this forces mate. See?
Checkmate.
Or does it? Maybe let's see. Now if king here,
Checkmate.
that's mate. So that leaves this. The rook can't go over. It's pinned. Now this is ending
Check.
in mate. Yikes.
Checkmate.
Okay, so White won the exchange. So better be down the exchange in a piece. But this pawn is still pinned. White can collect this. Looks like White can just do this. I don't know. I guess the rook will come over.
Check.
He's just giving up the rook on a7. Kaboom. Okay, so you can't lose a rook like that. Rook here. It's interesting how both of these guys are pinned. So, you know, if anything, White can just do this. Can't take the rook either way. But, I mean, it's better than losing a rook, right? So, Black just blundered, and now it's an easy win for White. Let's see. I'm trying to do something with this because force the queen back, but I don't have enough to do a mate. So this is perfectly good. Or is it? Just hung our rook. So White got careless here. If anything, we always have
Check.
this. And, you know, Black can safely resign, right? So, you know, one thing I'll discuss periodically, when you're material ahead, how do you win the game? Well, we know if you trade off to an ending that you win. But sometimes trading off to an ending is not feasible or not possible. And if we try it, our opponent will just end up strengthening our opponent's position. So here's actually a case where White could just force the ending. So, you know, just the brute force, queen takes G7, you know, Black should resign because, you know, he clearly has no hope here. all these pawns are vulnerable. If black wants to win the F pawn, he must give up his H pawn, and his other pawns are going to follow. So, what I try to say is that if you're on material, try for mate. So, the logic here being that you have the extra material, and let's see if we can get a mate, because a mate will end the game quicker. Well, I think trading down to G on G7 will get the game over too. But here's the move. It's right here. Now the threat is to take with check, and then check again, and there's your mate, right? Okay, let's burn a move for black. Takes.
Check. Checkmate.
Checkmate. So we want to try to win more artistically when we can. Now watch this. Now we can take
check.
Check. These pins over here are just a huge nuisance.
Check.
And we don't even have to take the queen. We're going to win it.
Check.
Okay, we're going to win that queen. So, black is in a quandary here. You want to make some room for the king. Well, we're going to put this queen where it's safe. It can't get out this way. It can't get out this way. And it can't get out this way. You run it over here.
Check.
You're going to just lose it, or you're going to lose the king.
Checkmate.
Right. So this seems to win end all black resistance. Let's try the knight. Let's try a knight move. Okay. Well, that just allows
checkmate
here. Okay. So the knight move here allows checkmate.
Checkmate.
So queen here is the best defense, but now we have this move. Now we don't need to take. Although white's winning this. We're gonna get the king.
Check.
See, now black can't trade queens. It's illegal. See, it won't let me do it. So
check.
You still can't bring the queen back. Now, like I said, we don't need to take the queen. We're going to win it.
Check.
You got two legal moves. Pick one. Let's try this one. Now the king has no legal move. You better make some room for it. I think white can find a mate here pretty quickly. So, we don't need to go any further and show you the mate, right? So here, forgetting that we're releasing the pin, and we just given away a free rook back. So black's alive and kicking. Now suddenly we have to be a little more careful. So the idea of liquidating on G7, which was there earlier, isn't as doesn't look good at all here, because black is going to be a pawn up in the king and pawn ending. Black's pawn structure is not all that good, but white can't force a passed pawn. And black would have one. So, black only down. He has a pawn compensation for the exchange, but his king is still loose, and these pieces are well placed. That's what
check.
Do. Check. Okay, now you got one pawn back, attacking this one. So this should still be a win for white, but we got to go through the technicalities of it first. That seems to allow this check, and then it's all over. Check. King has one legal move, and then we win the queen.
Check.
And that's where it ended. So black clearly had to find another move, but well, you got a pass pawn, use it. That's one idea. Or protect this, but that drops this with check. It's going to lose the queen.
Check.
You say it's going to lose the queen? It sure is. How do you win the queen here? Well, it's attraction. You attract the king away and you gobble it up. So looks like the only possible move for black was to play this. Now, white is still for choice here, but hey, look what we got. If white's not careful, he's going to get busted here.
Check.
But that forces that. And, you know, the pin is on. We could do this and, you know, black can safely resign. Very interesting game. Okay, so let me stop recording.